You're watching ABC4 News, celebrating 75 years.
Welcome back. We are almost 3 weeks into the new year, and people are working hard to stick to those New Year's resolutions. One of the most common New Year's resolutions, better budgeting. To help us with that goal, we have Jeremy Blair with Mountain America Credit Union joining us in studio to talk a little bit about this. Thanks for joining us.
You bet.
So what is the most common goal for a New Year's resolution when it comes to budgeting?
Sure. This year, it seems to be all about spending less. Last year, we binged a lot.
We did. Some of us did.
Most of us did. You're not alone. I know I did. Everybody had money coming out of COVID, and so you had revenge travel. That was a great phrase from last year. And people really dialed up what they were spending, well above what they did in prior years. Now we're coming into this new year where we have a little bit less in our savings than we did last year, and people are starting to realize, hey, this year I'm going to have to be a little more careful with my money, make sure that it goes farther, especially with all the inflation they've seen over the last couple of years.
So how do you go about doing that?
Sure. The best thing you can do is sit down at the beginning of the year. January is a great time. February is not too late. Go in there and set aside some time to really be honest with yourself about what your finances look like. I recommend you do it when you sit down to do your taxes. That's a great time because you've got everything in front of you. What you earned that year, what you spent. It can be a little bit sobering. Try not to get down when you do that. That's important, right? Don't get down on yourself because remember, the whole point of having these goals is to do better than you did the prior year. So if you bombed last year a little bit, that's all right. You're starting from a little bit lower. It's going to be easier to do better this year.
We always talk about New Year's resolutions in January, but by March, April, a lot of times they teeter off. Do you have any advice for maintaining those, maybe a good halfway checkpoint to the year to make sure that you're still on the right path?
You hit on one of the most important things there, and that's those milestones, making sure you've got time horizons set in. We talk about SMART goals, making sure they're specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-based. If you have children, you've probably asked them at some point, what do you want to be when you grow up? My kids always say rich. Okay,
I don't blame them. I want that too.
It's a great goal. But how do you get there? You need those milestones. Are you going to go to college? Are you going to go to a trade school? How much student loan debt are you going to take on? How are you going to achieve those goals? I say put as much on autopilot as you can. Go into the year and say, every time I get a paycheck, I'm going to put 10 or 100 or several $100s into my savings. Then I know what I've got left to work with, right? And I can start budgeting there. Then look at your fixed expenses and put those on autopilot as well. At Mountain America, our members, we use apps to help them, automate that. Auto pay for things like mortgages or car payments, things that you know how much they're going to be. Then you can just focus on those variable costs. How much am I going to spend to eat out? How much am I going to spend at the grocery store this year? That goes a long way to taking a lot of the noise out of the picture so you can focus on those things that you can really have an impact on.
All right, Jeremy and Blair, thank you so much for joining us. A lot of helpful information there.
You bet.